How do you get a band 9 in IELTS speaking? Let me show you. Hello, it's Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy. Here to help you become, here to help you get a band 9 in IELTS speaking. So today I'm going to show you actually a complete and proven system that will help you get a band 9 in IELTS speaking based on sound linguistic research. Secondly, I'm going to show you how this system works through a complete lesson on the part 2 topic of traveling and road trips. Now actually, this lesson comes from my online course, my IELTS Speaking Gold course, which actually has 3 different courses. It has the exam strategy course, shows you how the exam works, the self-study course, recorded videos and PDFs, so you study on your own, at your own pace, when you want, where you want. And third, the interactive course, which is a chance for you to interact with live lessons with me and the students together. You can interact in the written chat. And we have daily speaking practice rooms where a chance for you to practice speaking with students from all over the world on the course. Right now, though, let's find out how to get a band 9. Now, there are 2 things you need to succeed in getting a band 9 in IELTS speaking. 1, good exam technique. 2, good spoken English. That includes good fluency, vocabulary, not that you know, but that you can use, and grammar, not the rules, but grammar you can speak fluently, and clear pronunciation. My simple system for getting a band 9 is the following. 3 steps. 1, discover. 2, practice. 3, review. 1, you discover the language in different contexts. 2, you practice using it, speaking. And 3, you review it in different ways through stories, songs, conversations, whatever it may be. And you do this again and again for different topics. So let me show you each of these steps in turn, one by one, and I'll illustrate it with some video lessons from my Gold course. Okay. Actually, this is 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You can see how the system works and get a look inside the Gold course at the same time. Now, of course, with this system, you can follow the system on your own and elevate your English on your own. Absolutely fine. You can also do it with the course. It's probably easier and quicker because everything is there and organized for you, but it's entirely up to you. So let's look at step 1, discover. Okay, step 1 is discover. Now you discover language by listening, watching, or reading. In the Gold course, and if you're preparing for IELTS, a useful way to discover language is through model answers, right? Not to memorize the answer, but to discover language. The problem is on the internet, a lot of the model answers are just written in formal written English. What you really need is an audio or watch somebody so you can hear the pronunciation, you get the fluency as well as the vocabulary and the grammar. So that's what we're going to do. This is what I do in the Gold course. So I'm going to show you now a model answer from the topic of road trips, part 2 topic. And as you watch, just note in your head 3 or 4 interesting words. Okay, here we go. Describe a road trip you have taken. You should say where you went, who you went with, and what happened on the trip. So actually, I went on a road trip with my father when I had just turned 30. The 2 of us decided to take the car and drive from England through France, from top to bottom. We had both been through some difficult times and really decided we needed to get away from it all. So it seemed to us that hitting the open road was the best way to do it, particularly since we both loved driving. We had a rough plan, but we were open to adventure. In actual fact, we took advantage of the trip to go and visit some friends in the north and the south of France, kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, if you like.
So I was behind the wheel for most of the first leg, through the big cities and the little towns of northern France. And I just remember those kind of busy urban landscapes, and the reckless driving of the French. It was hard driving at first because the French, they drive on the right? And I wasn't used to it. I had to be really careful actually when overtaking, and especially at the roundabouts. I got the hang of it though, and within a few days, yeah, it was fine. And then in the south of France, my dad took the wheel. And there I do remember the long flat roads stretching for miles ahead, and the fields that were dotted with these yellows and oranges from the flowers and the cereals. And I just soaked up the beautiful views whilst my dad was driving. It was a really memorable trip, and one, honestly, that I will savour for years to come.
Nice. So what were the 3 or 4 words that you noticed? Well, next, to study this language, right, the language you've discovered, you need to make a note of it. And you need to write down, I would say, the word form. Is it a verb, a noun, an adjective? The phonetics, the meaning, a definition, collocations, maybe similar words or synonyms, and maybe useful grammar you've come across. Now, you can do all of this on your own. In the Gold course, I do it for you with a video and PDF to show you the language. Let me show you for this model answer on road trips how I've done that. Watch carefully.
So let's have a look at an analysis of that model answer, looking at the language and the kind of vocabulary and grammar that came up, as well as some fluency tips. Okay, so it begins. Actually, I went on a road trip with my father when I had just turned 30. So I went on a road trip. We can say to go on a road trip or to take a road trip. That's fine. To turn 30 is idiomatic. It means to become 30. So I have just turned 20, just turned 30, just become 30 years old. The two of us decided to take the car and drive from England through France from top to bottom. Great, that's very clear. From north to south, from top to bottom. Now, some interesting tense and grammar. We had both been through some difficult times. Why is this we had been? Because it's before we took the trip. So this is now. This is taking the trip in the past, took the trip, and before the past, we had been through difficult times. It's the past perfect, right? And this is lovely to talk about things that happened before the story. We had been through some difficult times and decided, so we're dropping the had, but it's still there, we needed to get away from it all. To get away from it all means just to escape from the stress or the difficulties or the routine of life, right? When you need a holiday, you say, I just want to get away from it all. Nice idiomatic expression. Next. So it seemed to us that hitting the open road was the best way to do it. To hit the road is to begin your trip, or the open road. So it's making it clear it's not about city driving all the time. It's more about countryside driving, to hit the open road. Although I did go through some cities, we can still use the expression, right? Hitting the open road. Particularly since we both love driving. Now, particularly is very nice, it's very simple, but it just emphasizes the idea that we loved driving. We had a rough plan, that's kind of an approximate plan or a draft plan, but we were open to adventure. So to be open to something means that you are willing to do something or to listen to something, right? In a meeting, if I say I'm open to ideas, then I'm willing to listen to your ideas, right? I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to adventure. I'm willing to go on an adventure. Come what may. Carpe diem. Seize the day. That kind of thing. Which is great, right? Because me and my dad, I'm 30. My dad must have been at the time 60 something. And we were like two teenagers out on the road. It was great fun. Okay. In actual fact, so that's a nice bit of a kind of, it's a connecting, it helps coherence. It's a connecting device. Again, emphasizing, right, this is the truth, right? In actual fact, we took advantage of the trip to go and visit friends in the north and south of France. To take advantage of is when you're, to make the most of, but when you're doing something and you use that to do something else, right? So if I'm cooking a dinner and I've got lots of flour, I'll take advantage of the flour to make a cake for today and a cake for tomorrow, right? I'll use this to do something else. So we use the trip to enjoy the trip, but also to take advantage of the trip to do something else, to go and visit the friends. Killing two birds with one stone, classic kind of idiom. But notice how I say it in a very natural way. Kind of like, it's a kind of killing two birds with one stone, if you like, right? If you like means I'm proposing an idea if you're willing to listen to it. But it's just a gentle way of giving an idea or a suggestion, right? I was behind the wheel for most of the first leg. So I was behind the wheel. So to be behind the wheel or at the wheel is to drive. The first leg is the first part of a trip. So in a trip, or even like in the cycling competition, the Tour de France, you have different stages, right? Each stage is a leg. First leg, second leg, the final leg. So I took the first leg through the big cities and little towns of northern France. I just remember those busy urban landscapes. Nice, right? Instead of saying towns or cities again, urban landscapes. Lovely. And apologies to the French, reckless driving of the French. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean that badly. But for me, at that age, I was 30, suddenly driving in France, it seemed to be quite more risk-taking, the French drivers, than the British are. Reckless, for me, reckless is a bit dangerous, right? But taking more risks. Moving on. It was hard driving in France at first because they drive on the right and I wasn't used to it. So we've said before to drive on the right or to drive on the left, depending where you are. I had to be really careful when overtaking, passing other cars, especially at the roundabouts. I got the hang of it though. So to get the hang of something is to manage to do it, particularly a skill that you're practicing. And then when you can finally do it, I got the hang of it. When you learn to ride a bicycle, at first it's difficult, right? As a kid, and you fall off. But after a few days, you get the hang of it. Yeah? Great. And then in the south of France, my dad took the wheel. Didn't mean he stole the wheel and left me without a wheel in the car. No steering wheel. Oi, come back. No, he took the wheel, which means he sat here and he drove, and I sat there because it's a British car. Driver's on the left, right? Oh no, it's the other way around. This is Spanish cars here. The driver's on that side in England. It's all ever so confusing. Next, I remember the long flat roads stretching out. Nice. So not that stretching, but we can say the road stretches out or the view stretches out for miles ahead, and the fields dotted. So a dot is a point, and to dot is to put these little points. So when you describe, if you look at a field and there's lots of little flowers, they look like dots, right? You can say the field is dotted with flowers. The landscape is dotted with little houses, because from far away, they look like little dots. And so here they were dotted with yellows and oranges. Nice, right? From the flowers and the cereals, that was the colour of them. So I just soaked up the beautiful views. So to soak up is to absorb, like a sponge absorbs the water. But you can soak up a view, means you just, wow, look at that. Beautiful. You just soak up the view, soak up the atmosphere, just to really enjoy it. So I just soaked up the views whilst my dad was driving. It was a really memorable trip, and one I will savour, one I will cherish. I will have a fond memory of for years to come, in the future, right? For years to come. That is the analysis.
Right, now step 2 is to practice. And you can practice on your own or with other people. If you're practicing alone, typically you're talking to yourself or to a mirror or repeating from a recording, or with other people. On the Gold course, we have these daily speaking practice rooms where you can practice speaking to other students. Each day there's a different topic. You have a list of questions and you can practice the new language you've discovered as you're answering the questions. Today though, obviously I can't do that on YouTube, but I can show you the practice on your own. And you're not entirely alone on the Gold course. I have videos where I practice with you, but it's a recorded video. So I get you to give me some phrases, to repeat them, to change a word, to put in the negative, change the tense, to get you really thinking about it and using the language. It's a bit like I'm in the room with you with this video. Let me show you a short extract just to give you a flavour of what it feels like. Okay, welcome to the Practicing Chunks video, all on the topic of trips. Right, let's begin. First chunk is to hit the road. Bam, to hit the road. Of course, it means to start a journey or a trip. Okay, let's begin. Hit the road. Repeat. Okay, notice we don't say hit the, we say hit the, because the T and the tongue is in the same position. Hit the road. Repeat. It's time to hit the road. Repeat. It's 1 o'clock and time to hit the road. Repeat. It's 1 o'clock and time to hit the road. Change to a past tense. Right, you should say, it was 1 o'clock and time to hit the road. Right? It was 1 o'clock and time to hit the road. Next chunk, to get away from it all. To escape the stress and the pressure of life, work and family. To get away from it all. Let's begin. Get away from. Get away from it all. Repeat. I love to get away from it all. Repeat. I love to get away from it all by driving to the mountains. Repeat. Yes, you have to do by driving to the, you have to do the do the gesture. I love to get away from it all by driving to the mountains. Repeat. Good. She loves to get away from it all by driving to the mountains. Say the opposite. So you might say, she doesn't love to get away from it all by driving to the mountains. Or she hates to get away from it all by driving to the mountains. She prefers to go walking on the beach. Or maybe she loves to get away from it all by walking on the beach. Yeah, You could argue that's an opposite. Walking on the beach, driving in the mountains, not quite an opposite, but you could argue that if you wanted. So there you go. That's some of the practice you can do. Step 3 is next, which is, yes, review. So step 3 is review. Reviewing the language that you've discovered and practiced. To review, there's different things you can do. You can listen to podcasts on the same topic. You can watch videos on YouTube on the same topic. Create stories with Gemini, Google Gemini, ChatGPT. Create songs, suno.com, for example. Do quizzes. Try WordWall, for example. Have conversations with family, friends, classmates, your dog, whoever, right? Now, in the Gold course, we actually have, I think, all of those except the dog. And there are different ways to do it. Let me show you inside and you can see all the different activities we do. Okay, so inside the Gold course, there are 3 courses, as I mentioned. We have the self-study course, which is you studying with videos and recorded videos and PDFs. We've got the exam strategy and tips to help you learn how the exam works, and the interactive live lessons, Zoom meetings, and practice rooms. In the self-study, just looking inside here, so as I mentioned, you can get all the course materials at the start. There's a course book, there's the slides. You can download the novel for part 1, part 2, and part 3 topics. The whole course is on a podcast, so you can review it quite easily anytime that you like. You can download that to your phone. And it's based on the Speaking Success System, as we've discovered today. Discover, practice, and review. Part 1 topics, you'll see go through this. For example, history, we've got discover, practice, quiz, and review, as you've seen today. And likewise for part 2 and part 3 topics. Just coming back in, we've got the interactive course. Just very briefly, in here, you have the speaking practice rooms, where every day, a different topic, you can speak to the students. We have a Facebook group you can join, live lessons twice a month, and Zoom meetings as well, where we review the live lessons together. All of the live lessons are recorded, so you can watch them through this playlist. Or you can just go down alphabetically and search any live lesson. Over 80 different recordings, every topic you can imagine for IELTS speaking. So there it is, a complete proven system to help you improve your spoken English and get a band 9 on IELTS speaking. Now, I don't guarantee you will get a band 9. It depends on you and your level, of course. But I do guarantee if you follow the course and over 4 or 5 months, you will improve by 1 band in your spoken English. So if you're a band 6, you'll get up to band 7. If you're a 7, you'll move up to band 8. It's all in the practice. Well, all 3 steps: discover, practice, and review. I call it the Speaking Success System. If you want to find out more, click on the link down in the description and go and check it out. I'll be waiting for you in the course. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure being here with you again, and can't wait to see you soon. Maybe in the next video. All the best now. Bye-bye.